Yeah, you know, Toronto, the city, is, I'm new, so I've only been there a month, but it's phenomenal. It's you know, it's the 4th largest city in North America. Yeah. Behind only, or in the United States and Canada anyway, behind only New York, LA, and Chicago. We haven't been as good on the field as anybody would like. Yeah. You know, it's not a secret. That's why we have the first pick in the draft, and we have a lot of work to do. Yeah. But we've set out now on a really careful plan to move this team forward.
This likely the last action of the 2012 season for Toronto FC. Luis Silva leaves it for Terry Dunfield. It takes a deflection as the crew, in the end, could only get it clear to Silva, who couldn't get the shot away. It is all over at Crew Stadium. A dismal season comes to a close for Toronto FC. Much work to do heading into the off-season.
When you have a year like Toronto had, it damages your confidence. I don't care who you are. And you start to doubt yourself or doubt the group.
Most importantly, I want to thank our fans who've been patient through this process. But with that, please join me in welcoming Kevin Payne as the president and GM of Toronto FC.
I understand the challenges that there have been on the field. I know that Paul kind of threw himself into the breach this year. The opportunity to turn things around on the field and repay the fans for their unbelievable level of commitment and passion is one of the most exciting challenges I can imagine.
Yeah, well, it's been here in Fort Lauderdale. I think it's all 17 years we've done it. It's kind of like old home week for those of us who've been to a lot of these. We always show up, there's a lot of anticipation. Everybody always talks about what a bad draft class it is. The second games are always better.
Oh. Good ball. Oh, what a ball. Great ball. He's not bad, by the way. Yeah, he's got something.
Kevin and I go back, as you guys know, to '99. Kevin gave me my first job.
Well, Earl was an intern for us in DC, and I actually, Earl and another young fellow named Jason Hind were young interns with us, and I heard a story that they actually were out one night with all of the young interns, and they defended one of their colleagues against some bullies in a bar. And when I heard the story, I said, you know, that's the kind of guys that I want in our organization. So we happened to have 2 openings at the time, kind of entry-level openings, so we hired them both.
When we were in DC, in so many ways it felt like a family. You know, guys would do anything for the guy next to him. Guys would work hard because they wanted the next guy beside them to be successful. They wanted the team to be successful, and that feels good.
Over the years, I've tended to get pretty close. I've tended to have people that work with me over a long period of time. When I trust people, when I not only trust their integrity, but trust their ability to get the job done, I like to try to keep them close if at all possible. So yeah, I guess it does become a little bit like a family.
We're happy to announce today the signing of Jim Brennan on a multi-year contract. We're thrilled. It's a wonderful day for for Toronto FC. So hopefully after this we can secure certain other signings. But we look forward to seeing Jimmy in a Toronto FC jersey.
Closer to 40 to 30 yards out. It'll be Brennan, and it's beautifully hit, and we are tied!
Myself, I mean, I had to leave home at 16 to go over and pursue my dream of being a professional. Whereas now, when you look at this league, I mean, it's unbelievable how far it's come along.
Now De Rosario, this match showing signs of opening up. De Rosario, Brennan! 1-0 Toronto FC! The captain makes the run forward and finishes for the first goal of the season.
It's been good that Kevin come in because now he's overlooking everything. He brings that professionalism, that no-nonsense attitude, and he means business. We're all looking forward to the season and getting things underway, and you can already see that, you know, there's been some changes, there's been some improvements. Football is I mean, that's our jobs, right, and how you perform on the field, but you always want to know and get to know the real individual that you're about to sign. You end up finding what the kid's all about. You know, you always want to talk about the background. It's not just football. When you go and talk to these young guys, you want to know, you know, their interests and what they're like outside of the game of football. You know, what they were like growing up. What are they into? What's their interests? You tend to try to find out everything about them.
Since first, when you walk in the dressing room the first day, and you'll see guys who've played in World Cups, you'll see guys who've played for Real Madrid, you'll see guys who've excelled in this league. What do you think?
Your family's Dutch, right? Or Dutch heritage? Any players from
What was the build-up been like for you? Because every time I read something, you're the top guy or the second
Where do you
guy.
live in Toronto?
Just outside the city, in Oakville.
I'm brand new there, so I'm just learning it.
One of the things we thought about Kyle going into the draft is that, and I have to say Earl Cochran in particular was very strong on this position. He felt that Kyle Becker was the most ready to go pro of anybody on the board. And we really saw that when we interviewed him. He has a quiet confidence. You know, he's not cocky, he's not loud, but he believes that he belongs at this level.
We have this year, we have Torsten, of course, and then we've also signed another player that's going to be announced today or tomorrow, so a player named Julio Cesar. We want to establish an environment of hard work right from the beginning, and it's going to start with us. We're going to be the hardest working staff in the league, and then we're going to ask the players to be the hardest working team in the league. Is that an environment that you're going to contribute to? Or are we going to, you know, if we draft you, we're going to look back in a year and say, you know what, Kyle is one of the guys that helped us create that? Or are you going to be, you know, kind of overwhelmed by the situation and the intensity of a new pro environment?
No, I don't think so at all. I mean, this is something I've been working for my whole life.
Talk to me a little bit about how you think about the role of a forward in kind of initiating the defending.
I can't remember what the call was about, but it was an annoying subject. I didn't want to, I didn't really want to deal with it then, but the person on the other end was insistent. When I was trying to open the door, it was just spinning. The lock was just spinning. It wasn't catching. I was pretty preoccupied with what I was doing. I didn't realize until I came back over that the guys had had a good laugh at that.
Obviously, the interview's not going well. When the president tries to throw himself over the ledge, it's not a good start. It's not all your fault, okay?
And I'm glad I was able to break the tension a little bit. I just remembered what it was about and who it was, and I'm getting annoyed all over again.
Go on.
You can't open the door.
So they want to do the deal for one. They're going to take a center back. The only thing, they don't want to give us like a
100% unilateral promise that they would trade him.
The Vancouver just, they want to go but they don't want to give us 5, they want to give us 10. And I said, 10's too far down. We're not going to get what we want at 10. I said, I'll ask our guys. No, so.
I like being at 3 and 4. We're going to have our choice, our pick in the draft.
Yeah, we go to 3-4. We know who's going to fall, or at least the position that's going to fall at 1. Because if you are 1, you're sure of getting what you need.
Which means they could trade that and say, get somebody from LA, and LA goes in and takes one of the best players, well, the best player.
I think Bruce calls up Burnsy and says, I'll give you Landon Donovan and our pick for number 1. You're gonna take it. Burnsy will come back and say, yeah, we're gonna take it. I still don't think Bruce takes Becker. We're pretty close to doing a deal for 1. So if we did it, we wouldn't move 3.
Okay.
And it, by the end, I just want to tell you, because by the end of this game, we might have it done.
Right.
So,
okay.
Let's just do it. I 100% agree.
We probably won't announce it till tomorrow.
Yeah.
So Earl, bring the story up to speed. We left Fort Lauderdale and you were mic'd.
Yes. And then what happened?
Kevin, thoughts on trading away the first overall pick in the eve of the Superdraft?
We finalized a deal with New England for the first pick. We moved down to 4, so now we occupy 3 and 4. We feel at 3 and 4, we still have. We're still going to get the guys that we want.
You have to add players from the college draft to your team. It's almost a given. It's almost impossible not to add some players that fill up lower salary cap slots on your team. So in a sense, it doesn't matter what the draft was like 3 or 4 years ago when Chris Pontius came out. What matters is what can you get out of this group? It's all relative.
When we went into Fort Lauderdale, we didn't want to leave. We didn't want to leave here with just 2 picks. We wanted to leave with 2 guys, potentially 3, potentially 4, and allocation is one of those ways you can add people by paying down salaries. So you always need that sort of allocation to help you out in a salary cap world. So we're pretty happy. You need to plan. You need to be prepared. You need to have. You need to know what some people are going to be doing, think what some people are going to be doing. In many ways, it's a game of chess.
What do you think if we chose 2 Toronto area guys? Part of how you need to approach the draft is really what's the upside of guys, right? I mean, it's a huge bonus if they can help you right away. Yeah. I mean, you almost can't expect that. I don't think anybody would have thought coming into this draft that he'd be available at 4. Did all you guys watch him?
Yeah.
What did you think of him defensively? Decisions with the ball don't worry me a whole lot, because I think guys that's pretty easy to teach them how to make safe decisions and where the ball needs to go in those situations. It's more if he was falling asleep defensively or losing his man or guys off his back shoulder do whatever they want.
what I've seen, that doesn't really appear to be the position.
Can you be sure before the draft to find out? So the guys we're talking about using, so Emery. We ought to know Becker's situation too. I'm not too worried about that one because he's a 4-year college guy. Let's make sure we know what their contracts look like. I think let's stick with the poison we got for the moment. And
Yeah, yes, please.
can I also get water when you get a chance?
Yeah.
So let's really, really think about who we want, depending how far down we go.
And how far we can go. Yeah. That'll dictate who he's at.
Yeah, do you guys want to order now?
Welcome everyone to Indianapolis and the 2013 MLS Superdraft. Your first look inside the convention center here is a full coverage today of the first steps the teams are taking towards the 2013 MLS season. Been a lot of intrigue behind the scenes, gentlemen. A lot more than last year in Kansas City. A lot more wheeling and dealing and trading of picks.
Look, I have a lot of friends in the league. It really is genuinely enjoyable to see them all. But in the course of those conversations, you try to find out what they're thinking about.
If our guy is on the board and possibly interested.
Probably depends on if our guy is there. Different people have different ways of trying to gauge it. I try to get as much information as humanly possible, knowing that a lot of it is probably not accurate. You want to do anything for 4? All right, so Dallas and Montreal. But the teams that were anxious to move up, we were pretty confident actually wanted Kyle.
If we pick Becker, they're not going to do it. They said that we're going to wait until you make your pick to decide.
You just try to cull through it and sift through it and figure out, you know, how that information shapes your decisions. How about Dallas? Huh?
Dallas is right there.
Yeah, just go ask them.
Toronto FC are now on the clock.
I mean, those 4 minutes are definitely nerve-wracking. I mean, you obviously have no idea what's going to happen, but the second you hear your name, it's sort of a sigh of relief, but it's exciting too. I mean, I just wanted to make sure I thanked all my friends and family for being here and supporting me, and I've grown up with, as far as I'm concerned, 2 of the best parents anyone can ever ask for. I mean, they've given me everything since the moment I came into this world, and they've supported me through everything. And I mean, I think they're kind of an old school kind of people. They like to drive everywhere. I mean, even growing up, the few vacations we went on, I can remember, I think we drove to Florida one time from Oakville. We're a little different, but I think he's taught me a lot of important stuff about myself. I mean, he's a guy, he didn't come from much, but he's worked hard his whole life, and he's given up me, my brother, my sister, like we've never had anything we didn't want or deserve. I mean, he's given us a great life, and he's taught me that hard work pays off, and sort of just keep your head down and push, and don't be arrogant, don't be cocky, be humble, and stay true to your close friends and your family and the guys around you who you want to be around you, and surround yourself with good people.
I mean, someone's calling, maybe trying to work a trade. They believe that the guy that they want, they're still going to get later, then find a way to pocket up a $50,000 or a $75,000 allocation that you can use later on. It's got to be smart, but you got to act quick.
There was a couple of teams that were throwing ideas at us, but that we weren't going to do them. Seattle, for instance. But that pick was going to move us too far down too quickly. So we ended up doing the Vancouver trade.
Okay, now we're getting busy here. So we have a trade to announce, a trade involving Toronto FC and the Vancouver Whitecaps.
Let's go back to FC Toronto. They're on the clock. They're actually got less than a minute now to make their pick. They traded down to number 10.
So Adrian, so what would your offer be? Was that your guy?
Yeah, it was a little bit risky, but you know, we looked at other teams and you know, tried to guess what they identified as their needs.
Zig? Adrian? Yeah, I think we would do it.
Toronto FC have traded the 10th pick of the first round of our draft to the Seattle Sounders.
We were a little concerned about San Jose. Not so much that they maybe had a need that Emery would fill, but just the fact that, you know, I was joking with Frank Yallop, and I refer to them as the San Jose Canucks.
With the 16th pick of the first round of the 2013 MLS Superdraft.
So when that didn't happen, of course, we were pretty pleased.
Toronto FC select from Oregon State University, forward Emery Welshman.
Toronto fans, being one of them for Toronto Raptors, for Toronto FC, they stand by their city, they stand by their team. For those Leaf fans, I know that the Leafs have been around for a while, so as kids they grew up listening and learning about them, but for someone like me, Toronto FC came around when I was well into my teenage years, and so it was really new, but just the whole buzz about it, I got to see it be created, I got to see the first year, I got to see the first picks. Being drafted for my home team, it's something like fairy tales are made up of, like you couldn't write a better script.
All I'll say is that we went in to the draft with a point of view of what we wanted to accomplish, and we were able to accomplish that. We don't know if Kyle's going to become the player that we think he can be. We don't know if Emery's going to make the contributions we think he can. We'll find those things out later. All you can do is go into the draft with a plan, and if you're able to execute it, then, you know, at least on that level, it's a successful draft.
Once you step on the field, it's all business, and all this is done with, and everyone forgets about this. And yeah, it's fun now, but I mean, the real job starts soon.
I need to go there, work my tail off day in and day out, and just prove to the team, to the coaches, that this is the right pick, that we went this right direction, and Emery Welshman can help Toronto FC become the team we want it to become.